Hello, I am Fiona Sitkin, a host of a talk show, The Bridge for Women Worldwide. Welcome to The Bridge, my friends. Today, we continue our series, Jewish Mothers Worldwide Speak About Israel. In each video blog, you will see an intelligent woman sharing her feelings and thoughts in the language of her choice, English or Ukrainian or Russian. The goal is to give a big picture of truly mothers' vision of the world, to show how they see this hot situation in Israel today. And we all love and respect our mothers. That's why let's listen to their advice. Let's listen whatever they have to say. Because mother is always right? Mother knows best. All right, today's topic is a mama from Buffalo Grove, Illinois, speaks about Israel with our guest, Tatyana Fertelmeyster, originally from Moscow.
Hello, here I am.
Yeah, welcome. Well, my friends, you will hear today from a remarkable person who learned by experience what it takes for a woman to stay her own ground, defending her values and raising remarkable children. Tatyana went a long way establishing herself as diversity, equity, inclusion consultant. And at some point, she was president of SIETAR-USA, which is a big deal. It's a great distinction. Again, welcome to our show, Tatyana.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Tell us, how are you related to Israel? Do you have any friends or families there? And what in general shaped your attitude to Israel? Please share where you are coming from to this conversation, providing a bit of your background, if you will.
My relationship to Israel is very personal. This year, both my parents would have been 99 years old. Neither one of them lived that long. Both of them were born in Ukraine. My father, who was born in Kharkov, is buried in Haifa.
Mm-hmm.
And the connection of these two places and these two wars that are going on right now, for me, goes along that line. Yeah. My father, who volunteered to go and fight in World War II as a young man, coming from Kharkov, that has now been destroyed by Russian bombardment. And at the end of his life, living in Israel. My mom, who lived there as well, later came to America, joined me, and last few years of her life, she lived here with me. I've never felt as much at home any place on earth as I felt in my few visits to Israel. Starting from just stepping into the airport. So it wasn't just about my parents were there and that feels like home. There is something magic about that country that feels like home. How I relate to Israel and to what's going on in that part of the world right now is very complex and complicated. When you invited me to have this conversation with you, and you said you were inviting Jewish mothers to be a part of that conversation, in my thinking, I realized that the way I feel about it as a Jew and the way I feel about it as a mother are not necessarily one and the same. As a Jew, I stand with Israel. I can be critical about its politics. I can be in disagreement with what state is deciding at this point or that point. That's not a question for now. Right now, as a Jew, I stand with Israel in every possible way I can. As a mother, I know that my heart hurts and my body kind of goes into the self-protection mode right now when I think about what happened in Israel on October 7th and about all the families that are now in an unknown about what happens to their children. I'm talking about hostages, I'm talking about children, no matter what age they are, who came together in the first couple of days ready to fight for their country. My mom used to have this really good friend in Israel, a Polish Jewish woman who was in Israel much longer than my mom was there. They had Russian language between two of them because Batsheva spent a part of World War II in Russian Gulag and learned Russian there. And so she and my mom who could communicate and developed a great friendship. And I am thinking about Batsheva right now because in her really serious age of 70 plus, she became an artist. She learned how to paint as every one of her grandchildren was going into the army. Her way of keeping her own sanity and her own just like, okay, I can't think about possible dangers 24/7. Let me occupy myself with something else. So she became quite an artist in that age. So coping with uncertainty, coping with not knowing what's going on with your children right now is huge. Or coping with knowing what happened to your children and grieving is what is very much happening right now. And that's where I cannot also not acknowledge the tremendous grief that mothers of Palestine are experiencing right now. A mother is a mother. I cannot imagine what the woman in the state of Illinois is living through right now. I am in the state of Illinois. And the very first thing that we heard about right here that happened when after October 7th was that the 70-plus-year-old landlord went to the apartment that he was renting out to this woman and her child and stabbed her multiple times. She survived and stabbed the 6-year-old Palestinian boy multiple times and he died. What for? What for? So the amount of hate that the events are generating in the world is just unthinkable and terrifying. And yes, if I could deal with Hamas with my bare hands, if my bare hands were of any help, by all means. And people who start the wars are often not the ones who pay the price. Putin right now is not paying the price. Yeah. People of Ukraine and people of Russia are paying the price in terms of lives lost and mothers crying. And one more perspective I have to add to all of that. As a Jew and as a mother, I also am a mental health professional and interculturalist. And I deal a lot with issues of personal and collective trauma. And the thing that is on my mind a lot right now is that wars end. One way or the other, the war in Israel, between Israel and Palestine will come to the end. The war in Ukraine will come to the end. The impact of trauma, the impact of having to completely dehumanize the other, what impact will that have and for how many generations? What we know already from research is that traumas like this not only impact the generation that is involved in the events, they can be found in DNAs a few generations down, like impact of Holocaust, for example, on Jews, or impact of slavery on African Americans, or impact of everything that happened to Native Americans or First Nations of Canada or Aboriginal people in Australia and New Zealand. It's not just about the event impacting those who are right there. It's a gift that keeps on giving in all kinds of really difficult, tragic ways. So as a mental health professional, I am terrified to think about what will be happening and for how long. Mothers and children and grandmothers and grandchildren and all kinds of combinations of people will have to deal with the ongoing impact of the collective trauma that people are living through right now.
Right. Thank you. I hear you, Tatyana. I hear you very, very well. Now, could you please share and compare what you were feeling on the very morning of October 7, hearing this news about bloody atrocities, and how the day was unfolding, and a little bit later, what happened with your near and dear? Was it a little less stress or not?
The moment I heard about it reminds me of the moment I heard about towers coming down on 9/11.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's like, what now? What now? It's just the world, the way we knew it, is gone. What is that? Later, definitely news, reading, listening, watching, and making a very intentional choice not to see the horrible atrocities that were perpetrated and intentionally recorded, filmed. I don't need to see that.
Right.
I don't need to see that the same way as many years ago after watching Schindler's List. I came out of the movie theater saying, great movie, super powerful movie. Never again do I need to see any other movie about the Holocaust. It's in my DNA. I know that.
Yes.
I know that. I don't need to see that, to know that.
Right.
It hurts on the level of every cell in my body when I think especially about mothers, grandmothers, fathers, mothers as just more general category. What is that like for them finding out what just happened? What just happened to grandchild who went to visit grandma, what just happened to, a teenager who went to the concert. Mothering is the most future-oriented activity.
Yes.
We bring children into the world to be in the world when we are gone. We are
Right.
future making. And when this future stops, and when this future is stopped in such a horrific way,
Right.
I don't know how anybody can keep living with that. And I know that for so many of these mothers and fathers, the powerful formula of turning pain into the purpose will work itself out at some point. Viktor Frankl, Jewish man who spent a few very painful years of his life in the concentration camp, and who came out of it with the whole philosophy and school of psychology that he created based on this ability of man's search for meaning. That's the name of his famous book. There is a lot of search for meaning to be done, but not yet, because the pain is just so tremendous right now.
Yeah.
My thinking right now is, how can I be of help? Yeah. I am not there. I don't have to deal with the everyday reality of it. So I have a luxury of being of help from the distance. And I can be of help as the person who knows a thing or two about dealing with trauma, the psychological impact of trauma, who knows about building bridges between differences. But we are not at the bridge building yet, and I don't know how soon we will get to it. I hope sooner rather than later.
Right.
But right now, we are so in the midst of the trauma and the unknown and the hate that is running the show. And some of it has to be there. You cannot fight a war loving the enemy. People have to learn how to hate. It is not learning that can then be forgotten. And so that's again where, as people, as mothers, as people mindful of the peace building, there is a lot of work for us to do. And one of the things that I'm also very aware of, and maybe it's all accidental, but I do believe that there was some logic in it, that people who were targeted the most on the very first moment of their forum were actually bridge builders. As you read about, the people who were killed in kibbutz, so people who were taken hostage, lots of them saw as the purpose of their life to build bridges, to connect, to be agents of change in a positive way. These kids at this festival, it wasn't a festival of hate. It wasn't a festival of let's show the other side, how we, don't care about anything other than ourselves. It was a festival focused on peace, on, bringing.
Yes.
Let's do it better. Let's do it together.
Yeah.
That is such a dangerous thing for those who benefit from hate. Those who benefit from hate, it's like follow the money. if my money comes from people hating each other, if that's where I benefit, I don't need all these bridge builders. I don't need these kids dancing and singing, for peace. I really need as much hate in the world as I can possibly generate. That's
Right.
how I would put everything under the hospital and under the school,
Right.
because who would not hate somebody who drops a bomb on the school or somebody who drops a bomb on the hospital, and we can have
Yeah.
all kinds of noise all over the world about it. And it's normal human reaction. Oh my God, kids are being killed.
Right.
Oh my God, kids are being targeted. Kids are not being targeted, but kids are very intentionally put in the position of being collateral damage. And the more, the better if I kind of operate in hate.
Yeah.
I recently read something about Russia and Ukraine that since August, like a few months now, Russia stopped doing any prisoner exchanges with Ukraine, very intentionally to make sure that Ukrainian people will get really upset with Ukrainian government for not doing more to free their loved ones from, being prisoners of war
Yeah.
in Russia. Those who don't care
Right.
win in that kind of situation, because those who do care feel compassion, feel pain, feel
Yes.
guilt, feel all kinds of things. Those who don't care can just play on it. So playing the music of somebody else's guilt and pain and shame and sorrow and all of that. That's the music that haters are really good at. They
Right.
know all the right keys to just push, and the
Right.
music will start.
Yeah. And we are on the other side. We are on the other side. So, Tatyana, if you had a chance to speak directly to those in power in the US, in Israel, wherever, here is the question. Could you give one or two pieces of advice or recommendation about how to normalize and stabilize the situation, establishing peace, and how to achieve peace for all children on earth? That's the main question. In brief.
In brief, I don't know what to say to them.
Uh-huh.
You and I know this Russian phrase, "Бабы новых нарожают."
Да.
Women will have more children. Historically, something like this can be found in different cultures at the times of war. Maybe the world needs more women to be in serious positions of government.
Yeah.
And also, the advice can be given to those who are willing to take it.
Right.
I don't think that Hamas is willing to take any advice. So
Okay.
getting rid of them as fast as possible. But
the future.
I think for the future, I think we need as much as possible clarity of terms. If we are going to win this war, what exactly do we mean by that? How does winning look like? How does peace look like? What are we talking about? The same way as mothers, one of our first tasks is to explain to our babies what means what.
Right.
And a lot of cultural challenges and differences and misunderstandings is about the fact that in different cultures, the same things sometimes mean different things. Yeah.
Yes.
So getting to a mutuality of understanding what it is that we are talking about.
It's a long way. I hear
It's-
you. It's a long way. For God's sake, let us be strong and kind of live through it, live to it, and so our children and grandchildren see some better future, right?
And for everybody, for all of us, let's hate right now. Let's hate, but let's hate very specifically and very clearly, because hating all of them, whatever all of them are,
Right,
never brings anything good into the world.
right.
Hating specific people who already caused specific harm and have intention to keep doing that, absolutely. Otherwise, we really all need to preserve our own sanity as much as we can so that future can happen.
Thank you. Thank you for everything that you voiced, and it will help many to understand the situation much better. And now, my friends, our guest, Tatyana Fertelmeyster, and I wish all of you to stay well and healthy. We will win. We shall overcome this war and beyond. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye. Be well, everybody.
I salute you.